Are you ready to play as Winter Soldier and unleash an arsenal of weapon power, or play as Vision and move through walls evading the enemy team? What about Ant-Man? Imagine the possibilities as you increase in size, towering over the battlefield to do massive damage, or reducing in size to speed around the enemy team quickly, get behind enemy lines, and set up a crazy team combo. Today, we're diving into our top 5 Avengers that need to be added to Marvel Rivals, and what abilities we'd love to see them have. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Rivals Nexus, your #1 headquarters for everything about Marvel Rivals. We'll bring you the latest news and updates, and once released, we'll have the best player guides for characters, maps, and more, as well as a community series where we'll show off your best plays and highlights. Starting off our list is the first Avenger, Steve Rogers himself, Captain America. We've got Captain America in as a tank due to his background as a leader and willingness to be the first one in and the last one to ever give up. Couple this with his super soldier serum, increased durability, and his iconic shield, he makes the perfect hero to lead the way as a tank character. When it comes to stats, we don't see Cap with an overly excessive amount of health like the Hulk would have, but we do think he should have some type of faster or passive healing regeneration, and definitely increased mobility for him to move around much faster than the other tank characters. When it comes to a potential moveset, we have to start with the shield throw. As seen across the comics and the MCU, the ability to throw his shield could be used as a way to deal damage to targets who are close together, having the shield bounce around in close proximity and potentially even dazing the targets for a couple of seconds. You could even take that one step further and allow players to bounce the shield off walls at different angles, providing a bonus effect for landing a hit. Next, fulfilling the tank role, he could use his shield to basically apply a guard or damage mitigation to allies he leaps in front of, and uses the shield to block incoming attacks. And lastly, what about a rolling leg sweep that plays off his fighting skill, knocking down enemies for a brief time and dealing damage? These are all pretty cool ideas, but there's one sequence we'd really love to see in the game, and that's a team-up synergy with our second Avenger on the list, Thor. Imagine the iconic endgame scene where Cap wields Thor's hammer, and we think this could be a really cool way to charge up Captain America before he engages the enemy team for a big-time setup. Thor comes in for our second spot, and there's no denying his damage output potential. We have him listed as a DPS, but more of a heavy hitter, where his attacks might hit slower but deal larger amounts of damage, and he'll have slightly more health than some of the other DPS characters. For his moveset, we'd love to see Thor with some type of leap ability where he can temporarily fly across a given area and crash down on enemies dealing AoE damage, or an aerial dash where he flies through targets, knocking them to the side, leaving them temporarily dazed. Melee attacks would be his primary way to deal damage, but would also have abilities like a hammer toss for some ranged poke, or even a way to call lightning from the sky to counter an enemy team's push. Our third Avenger on the list is Black Widow, and her assassin and spy-like past mixed with her incredible fighting skills make her a perfect choice for a DPS role. We'd slot her with the average health pool, and many of her abilities would help set up combos for other teammates. Utilizing her speed and balance, she would have an acrobatic maneuver where she grabs a target, dealing damage and flipping them behind her, putting the enemy out of position. This could also potentially set up a combo from teammates. She would also have access to some type of melee weapon or gadget like Widow's Bite, where she could stun a target with an electrical charge, making the enemy immobile for a few seconds. Being trained in martial arts, we'd also want to give her an ability that looks visually stunning and allows Black Widow to vault or flip over a small amount of space quickly to act as an escape or evade. And lastly, one of her attacks could also deal damage over time through some type of stab or poison injection from a gadget. Hawkeye shoots his way into our fourth spot and could easily share a team-up synergy with Black Widow. We see Hawkeye more as a support character where he can trail his team or find off angles to shoot various types of arrows. His primary attacks would be your typical damage-dealing arrows, while some of his more specialized arrows could be used for his abilities. Imagine an ability much like Hanzo and Sova from Overwatch and Valorant respectively, where a radar shot is sent out to give information to his team. He could use various gadgets to help his team, like a static field that slows targets when triggered, or even a type of explosive arrow that briefly catches enemies on fire for dot damage. As a support character, he would have access to a type of healing mist or gadget that he can launch towards allies to replenish health. And rounding out our final spot for our top 5, we're calling on War Machine. It would be neat to have an alternative to Iron Man where their impacts on the game come in different ways. Let's just imagine that Iron Man was more of a single target based character with beams and rockets. Well, then we'd look to have War Machine more as an area of attack type character with other types of weapons such as a Gatling gun. They would have similarities, both being DPS roles, similar health pools, and the ability to fly, but we'd look for War Machine to show off more of the various weapon attachments mounted to his armor, and almost be as someone who could give Iron Man a run for his money when comparing weapon arsenal. And that rounds out our top 5 Avengers we want to see in Marvel Rivals, and there are so many other characters that could have easily made that list. We want to know what makes your top 5 Avengers to add to the game and what abilities you'd give them, so let us know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up as this helps us a lot, and make sure to subscribe and stay up to date as our channel will be dedicated to bringing you the best Marvel Rivals content, news, and guides. That does it for this one. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Rivals Nexus.